What is going on, guys? NFL coaches, GMs, scouts, pundits, and fans know that you can't judge a player's potential for success entirely off of his rookie year. But sometimes, we can't help ourselves. It's too easy to jump to conclusions. Based off of the 2019 season, which 5 rookies look poised to become perennial Pro Bowlers, and which 5 look doomed to go down as busts? Let's dive right into it. Number 5, star, A.J. Brown. The Tennessee Titans already had 2 primary pass catchers in wideout Corey Davis and Pro Bowl tight end Delanie Walker. But they couldn't pass on Ole Miss receiver A.J. Brown, whom Titans GM John Robinson selected with the 51st selection. Brown burst onto the scene in Week 1 against the media darling Cleveland Browns, recording a whopping 100 yards on just 3 receptions. When the Titans benched Marcus Mariota in favor of Ryan Tannehill, Brown's production skyrocketed. Tannehill and Brown became one of the league's most unstoppable QB wide receiver combos, with the latter hauling in 52 receptions. Brown led all rookie pass catchers with 1,051 receiving yards, and Darius Slayton also shared the lead in touchdown receptions among first-year players with 8. Tannehill, Brown, and running back Derrick Henry formed a dynamic trio on offense that guided the Titans to their 4th straight 9-win season, and their 2nd playoff berth in as many years. Is it too early to ask how Brown slipped all the way down to the latter part of the 2nd round? Number 5, bust, DeAndre Baker. It's always important to be patient with defensive backs. They can't all have sensational rookie years like Marshawn Lattimore did in 2017. But we don't blame New York Giants fans for being worried about DeAndre Baker, who struggled far more often than not in coverage during his rookie year. The G-Man actually traded up via the Seattle Seahawks to select the Georgia corner with the number 30 pick. Baker was a consensus All-American as well as the Jim Thorpe Award winner in 2018. Giants fans had good reason to believe that he would shine in his rookie year, but Baker wasn't about to make it work. Baker was hit with a brutal 48.4 grade from Pro Football Focus in 2019. He didn't record a single interception either. The Giants finished 5th to last against the pass and 30th in scoring defense. Head coach Pat Shurmur was fired after the season, and the Giants hired New England Patriots special teams coordinator Joe Judge as their new head coach. With all due respect to Shurmur, we can only assume that Judge will find a way to better maximize Baker's skill set. The good news for the young corner is that he has nowhere to go but up in 2020. Number 4, star, Devin Bush Jr. The Pittsburgh Steelers swung a deal with the Denver Broncos to move up to the number 10 spot in the draft so they could take Michigan inside linebacker Devin Bush Jr. In return, Broncos GM John Elway received the number 20 and 52 selections, plus a 2020 third rounder. It was a pretty fair looking deal for both sides, but for 1 year at least, the Steelers are the big winners. Bush quickly emerged as a key anchor on the Steelers' rebuilt, revamped, and re-energized defense. He was also a force all over the field, racking up 109 combined tackles, as well as 2 interceptions, 4 passes defended, and 1 forced fumble. The Steelers' defense ranked 5th in scoring, allowing just 18.9 points per game. It was a steady improvement after finishing 16th in that category 1 year earlier. Bush and the Pittsburgh D kept the team in the playoff hunt throughout the season, even after the club lost Ben Roethlisberger for the season in Week 2. Pittsburgh just missed out on the final wildcard spot in the AFC, but this team is just getting started again. With Bush, TJ Watt, and fellow newcomer Minkah Fitzpatrick leading the way, the Steelers' defense should be a force in 2020 and beyond. Number 4, bust, N'Keal Harry. He may be the greatest head coach and GM in the history of pro football, but for whatever reason, Bill Belichick has really struggled to find quality wide receivers in the draft. After losing tight end Rob Gronkowski to retirement, Belichick knew he had to find a playmaking pass catcher, so he took a chance on Arizona State wideout N'Keal Harry, taking him with the number 32 selection. But an ankle injury forced Harry to miss the first half of the season, and he was limited to just 7 games. When on the field, Harry was far from a game changer, recording only 12 receptions for 105 yards and 2 touchdowns. Tom Brady endured one of the worst seasons of his career due to the lack of offensive playmakers outside of Julian Edelman. Harry was unable to contribute throughout most of his rookie year, and it's already safe to wonder if he'll ever pan out in New England. Number 3, star, Kyler Murray. There were plenty of concerns about how Murray's skills would translate over to the NFL level. That, along with a small size for an NFL quarterback, made Murray a major risk when he was taken 1st overall by the Arizona Cardinals. But Murray shrugged off any doubt by piecing together a spectacular rookie season that featured far more positives than negatives. Murray completed 64.4% of his passes for 3,722 yards and 20 touchdowns against 12 interceptions. The dual-threat quarterback also dominated on the ground, recording 505 144 rushing yards and 4 touchdowns. Arizona had the worst scoring offense in 2018, averaging a woeful 14.1 points per game. Just 1 year later, the Cardinals' offense improved to 16th in scoring, averaging 22.6 points per game. In a 2019 draft class that featured few quality QB prospects, Murray proved himself to be a future superstar in this league. Things are trending up in the desert. Murray and rookie head coach Cliff Kingsbury are just getting started. That's bad news for the rest of the NFL. Number 3, bust. Dwayne Haskins Jr. If Haskins had been part of the 2018 or 2020 draft instead, well, it's safe to say that he would have fallen somewhere to the mid to late second round. Luckily for Haskins, the 2019 draft class was extremely weak for quarterbacks. It was also fortunate that the Washington Redskins were absolutely desperate for a signal caller, which prompted them to take the Ohio State product 15th overall. If Alex Smith wasn't sidelined due to a gruesome leg fracture, there's a good chance Haskins wouldn't have landed in DC. Haskins appeared in 9 games during his rookie year, starting in 7 of them, but there wasn't a whole lot to like. He had an okay completion percentage of 58.6 with 1,365 passing yards, 7 touchdowns against 7 interceptions. He took a whopping 29 sacks in those games, losing 3 fumbles while posting a poor 76.1 passer rating. Simply put, Haskins has shown that he has a long way to go in becoming a potential franchise quarterback. There is absolutely zero guarantee that he ends up being that guy for the Redskins. The good news is that new head coach Ron Rivera figures to be an upgrade over Jay Gruden and his short-term replacement Bill Callahan. Rivera did wonders with Cam Newton, turning the latter into an MVP and Super Bowl starting quarterback. If the Redskins can rebuild the supporting cast around Haskins, he should take major leaps in year 2. But for now, Washington fans have every right to question his ability to be their long-term solution under center. Number 2, star, Josh Jacobs. The Oakland Raiders used one of their 2019 first-round picks on Alabama running back Josh Jacobs, and he turned out to be a big-time playmaker in their offense. Even though he missed 3 games, Jacobs managed to rack up 1,150 rushing yards and 7 touchdowns. He added 20 receptions for 166 yards in the passing game as well. Jacobs became their first 1,000-yard rusher in Oakland since Darren McFadden in 2010. It also marked just the 16th time in history where a Raider hit the plateau in a single season. Jacobs finished 8th in the NFL in rushing for the 2019 season, although he would have seriously challenged Derrick Henry for a rushing title if he didn't miss 3 games. While quarterback Derek Carr struggled with consistency in 2019, Jacobs emerged as the engine of the Raider offense. Credit John Gruden and Mike Mayock for going all in on the Jacobs hype train. This guy is going to be a complete game changer for years to come. Number 2, bust. Clelin Ferrell. Taken 4th overall, expectations were high for him, although he was selected much earlier than most of us expected. The Clemson graduate was part of their 2016 and 2018 national championship teams, and he was a 2-time first-team All-American. But he wasn't able to do a whole lot on Gruden's rebuilt defense in year 1. They weren't expecting him to perform like Khalil Mack or anything, but his rookie season was supposed to be better than what it turned out to be. He only had 4.5 sacks on the season, and he received a mere 62.2 grade from Pro Football Focus. Fellow rookie and teammate Max Crosby, taken 106th overall, outperformed him by posting 10 sacks and 4 forced fumbles. The Raiders at least went from 32nd in scoring defense down to 24th in just 1 year. They also went from dead last in sacks to 24th in the season with 32. But with Cleveland anchoring the defensive line, the Raiders had good reason to hope for more. Time is obviously on his side to get better, but this was a very disappointing rookie season on his end. And again, the Raiders passed on players with greater skill sets in favor of him in the 2019 draft. Number 1, star, Nick Bosa. The San Francisco 49ers knew that they couldn't let this guy go. They already had Dee Ford, Quan Alexander, DeForest Buckner, Solomon Thomas, and Eric Armstead. But instead of addressing another need, 49ers GM John Lynch wisely took Bosa, the best player available in the 2019 draft class. Bosa wasted no time in making an impact on the 49ers' star-studded defensive line. He recorded 9 sacks, 2 passes defended, 25 quarterback hits, and 16 tackles for loss.
BOSA! I'm so happy he's on my team! BOSA!
The 49ers finished 13-3 to earn the top seed in the NFC. They allowed the 2nd fewest yards with finishing 8th in scoring defense. Their 48 sacks were also tied with the Minnesota Vikings for 5th most in the NFL. Simply put, it was one of the most dominant rookie seasons ever for a defensive player. Now watch Bosa push for 15+ sacks a season going forward. The guy is going to be a leader of this defense for so many more years in the future. Number 1, bust. TJ Hockenson. The Iowa sensation entered the 2019 draft as one of the most hyped up tight end prospects prospects ever. The same, of course, went for his Hawkeyes teammate Noah Fant, whom the Broncos selected with the 20th selection. Hockenson went considerably earlier than that. The Lions took him 8th overall, even though another pass catcher wasn't this team's biggest need. Still, it was hard to fault the Lions for taking the 2018 John Mackey and Ozzie Newsome award winner. This guy's skill set was simply too great to pass up, but Hockenson wasn't really able to get much going in his first NFL season. He was limited to 12 games because of an ankle injury. But either way, Hockenson didn't produce a whole lot when he was in the field. He finished with only 32 receptions for 367 yards and 2 touchdowns. So much for being a red zone threat. Hockenson finished with a disappointing PFF grade of 60.7. Don't forget that the Lions wasted their 2014 first-round pick on tight end Eric Ebron, one of the biggest draft busts of the decade. The Lions offense wasn't exactly that reliant on tight ends compared to other units around the league, so it's understandable to second-guess their decision to take Hockenson. Of course, it didn't help that quarterback Matthew Stafford was hampered by a back injury that limited him to 8 games. But still, the Lions faithful can rightfully worry about Hockenson's unproductive rookie year. He should be a borderline Pro Bowl talent if this front office wants to justify taking him so early, when they could have addressed other weaknesses on their roster instead. What other 2019 NFL rookies look like stars and which ones look like busts? Join me in the comment section below. Make sure to follow myself and TPS on social media. We post great content all the time. Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, we're on everything. Go find us. You know you want to. I know you do. Like this video because it takes one click right down below. Make sure to subscribe to TPS because we post content like this every single day. Every day is new content. Of course, thank you so much for watching. I'm Jason Biondo. I'll see you next time.
My knee.